Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Elliot Brown here in the Essex Business Radio studio, and I'm talking to absolutely everybody everywhere at the moment with regards to C-19, COVID-19, of course, and how that's affected everybody, what they're doing to deal with it, with their business and in their lives, and any advice and ideas or tips they've got for everybody else that's having to deal with this huge shift that we've got in our lives. And so today I have Vanessa Gordon from East End Taste magazine, and that's correct, isn't it?
Yes. Hi, everyone.
And hi, thanks very much for joining me and obviously the viewers and listeners as well. So you are based in quite a nice part of the world, right?
Yep. I'm actually based in, as everyone perhaps knows around the world, is the Hamptons.
Yeah.
I live in East Hampton, New York, and I've also lived in Sag Harbor, which is just the little village right up the street here.
Right, very, very nice. So yes, a particularly nice area. So tell me a little bit about the East End magazine. So what's that all about?
Sure. So I really just started for fun back in 2014 as really just a little online hamlet or a blog, if you will, to write about, to really express, what I do on a day-to-day basis with a food-focused angle. But because the interest became so great, and I could talk about that a little bit too, it turned into really its own digital publication, and that was in late 2017, early 2018.
Right. Okay. Okay. And obviously, as we can tell, you're used to having your little ones around while you work as well. So that's
yes, I am. They found me, so I'm walking away.
I'm walking away.
To be quite honest, I have no idea what they want. No idea. They've been fed and the whole bit and all the good stuff. So they're just like to bother me a little bit or tease me, if you will.
So I mean, do you think there is a little bit of the fact that you are on sort of lockdown as well?
I think so. So for example, people always ask me, how do you balance taking care of two young children and running a business full time?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know how I do it. I just do it. And that's really the best way to describe it. So for example, they're technically they are my priority. Oh, this is my cat that I adopted.
Ah, there we go. Yeah.
Anyway, they're my priority. So I make sure that they're, fed, taken care of, showered, dressed, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And then by noon, that's when my workday begins. And for last night, for example, I was up until about 2 a.m. doing work. A little bit unusual.
Yeah.
But what's nice is I really schedule my day around them and their needs.
Uh-huh.
So it does fluctuate, but I'm just so used to it. I've been doing it for a number of years now.
Yeah, for sure. So you're used to that, and that's all part of the dynamics anyway. So I mean, so tell me how this is all affected. What they're doing as the magazine. You're digital and you have printed version as well of your magazine, right?
Well, almost. We were actually in the process of putting together our first print issue for the summer.
Right.
And what's interesting is people say, "Oh, print is dead." Not exactly. Out here in the Hamptons, that's what people look forward to
receiving.
Receiving. They sit on the beach, and the first thing they grab at the supermarkets or on Main Street, they grab their glossy magazines.
Yeah.
And they head to the beach or back to their pool, and they hang out all day and read the magazines. And personally, I love to read print publications because I'm in front of a computer for a majority of the day.
Yeah.
And my eyes, I can't take it. I need some physical to hold. So I actually never read books that are digital. Anything I can, I have to hold.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I mean, there's definitely still a place for it, and as you said, I mean, I think what would the terminology be? The type of people that live around where you are, and that's the lifestyle they have. Yeah, absolutely. I think it sort of goes hand in hand. To flick through something glossy is quite a nice thing. In fact, I still like to do that myself. I don't necessarily read magazines on an iPad, which obviously a lot of people do these days. But I'm assuming that is a big part of your business, that people do that. Is that what that is your whole business in essence, I suppose, really?
Yes, that is correct. So we haven't launched print yet. That is our intention.
Yeah.
However, with the COVID-19, we've had to shift everything. We were literally going to start production.
Right.
I want to say it would have been 2 weeks ago.
Right. Okay.
Around late
Oh,
March.
right.
We
So it
were
really
ready
did
to go.
happen at the time that it sort of became the big thing that it is.
Correct. Yeah. So, because what it was going to be, it was going to be a launch of the print issue just before our annual summer event that we do out here, or I
Right.
should say the publication does every year.
Yeah.
So we were really excited. So we'll see. It's still going to happen. It's a matter of when.
Yeah, I like that. That's the positive. That's the positive outlook we want.
Mhm.
So what has changed in your business for what you're doing? Obviously, you're going to launch that. That's not happening. As it's a digital publication, you can still continue to work as normal, right?
Correct. So I mainly work in terms of naturally what's going on. We are in a way hyper local
Okay.
in the on season. So the on season, that means it would be May to just about September, even into October on Columbus Day weekend here,
Okay.
which is about the second weekend in October.
Yeah.
So that would be mainly focused on the scene out here, as they say, the events, the dinners,
The scene. I like that.
yeah, all the yeah, and just what's happening,
Yeah.
the who what of the East End, really.
Yeah.
Now, since we're not even sure if we're going to have a summer season out here, we have
No.
no idea.
Yeah.
I pressed a pause button. Um, Unfortunately, I've also decided I don't like to use the word cancel, but focus now on 2021 for our
Yeah.
annual summer event.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, would not make sense to put the Hamptons brunch on this
Yeah.
summer. We need at least 8 to 12 weeks to plan a solid event, and I really I was ready to blow this out of the water.
Right.
Really, really excited. I have a great team behind me, great partnerships lined up. We were really excited. So, with that being said, that's 2021 now. So it's a very, that aspect of it, I also do smaller events throughout the season out here.
Okay.
And I'll either partner with another publication,
Yeah.
or I will partner with a brand and we'll do a co-branded event or a
Okay.
dinner.
Cool.
That piece of the puzzle is completely set aside.
Yeah.
So now I'm focusing all on digital growth. So my revenue, I'm building that now into I'm doing a lot of social media advertising right now. I actually just started advertising on Twitter, which I actually love doing. Twitter's my platform, right? I love Twitter right now.
Okay.
And I never thought,
So that's interesting. So from a media point of view, and actually we've been talking about this recently because there's sort of this is becoming a bigger thing than it was initially was, as I'm sure people that are following Essex Business Radio and myself have sort of seen. But we definitely need to be on Twitter. It's very media based, a lot of media stuff on there, isn't there? And of course, you are media, aren't you? It's media, whichever way you look at it. So you do find it. You're finding traction quite well with Twitter, are you?
absolutely. I look at the analytics every few days, and it's just growing. There's that green. You see that growing. The impressions, the engagement.
Okay.
And I personally find it right now better than Instagram. I find Instagram, I'm being very honest, a little artificial. Say a lot of, really, it's very much.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I find Twitter, you're in the moment.
Yeah.
And people, you could communicate with people very easily.
Right.
I find it to be actually probably the friendliest social media platform from my perspective. Many people do not agree with me, which I definitely understand. But I find for what I do and who I'm communicating with, and the following that I'm trying to build, and the community, online community, so to say.
Yeah.
I find it very, very friendly, warm, and inviting. I love it. It's really my go-to now.
That's quite interesting. No, it's the first time sort of Twitter has been brought up in a way that for a while. But I have seen a few people in media being started to use that a lot more again now. As you said, I mean, look, Instagram has its place. We've got presence on there. Do we get that much that much engagement? I wouldn't have said we do. It's magazine based. I class it almost as a magazine style thing, that a magazine that you don't tend to read. You just flick through the articles and look at the pretty pictures. Would you agree with that?
I certainly agree. I find so people do categorize me as an influencer. I don't like to use that word, even though at one point when I was first branding the event, the Hamptons brunch, we had the word influencer in the title.
Yeah.
It was, I use that word delicately. Now, I find that with that, you almost have to create a persona and stick with it, and that's your brand.
Yeah.
Really. Whereas me as a person, I'm a little eclectic. I like a lot of different things. I like to share a lot, but then I have to remember wait, food. Remember Hamptons. Remember nobody cares about, you know, in your backyard, having fun, with paint all over your face. Nobody cares. You have to focus. So that was tricky for me in the beginning.
Okay.
But anyway, I mean, but it is, I will say that it's fascinating what people have created on there. It took years to grow the platform. Yeah. It's leveled off. I find that I have to spend more money on advertising to even get a word out. Yeah. And people, that follow me, I mean, they're like, oh, I love, your feed. I love this, love that. Yeah. But I never see them engage. And it's not something I'll say, oh, well, then why aren't you commenting? Why aren't you liking my photos? I don't really I don't care, per se, but, I find that very interesting too. So
but the engagement on Twitter, you find the engagement is much better. And is that particularly right now as well, more than before the sort of outbreak, or was it anyway? Were you getting better engagement anyway?
I was getting better engagement anyway, but I would say there is a little uptick now. I find it easier to. What I noticed was, I'll track where my clicks are coming from. Many of them are coming from Twitter. Right. So I'll share it. And what I do is I'm not afraid. I reshare articles. Yeah. I love doing it. I'll retweet my own information. Yeah. Yeah. And I try to stay true to my reach. So I'll, share as much as I can within a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah. So you've worked from home. You've been running your business from home for a good while. Has things changed with regards to having contact with people in your business? I mean, a lot of people are using things like Zoom or having video conversations and having conversations like this rather than doing the face to face. Did you have a lot of face to face stuff before? Were you out meeting people regularly?
Yes, actually, I would actually go out of the house. I would have my meetings are not only because I can have childcare those days, believe it or not, in the past, I would bring, when my daughter was in preschool, I would bring my son to meetings with him. He would be like, almost call him the little mascot of the business. Yeah. But now he's 2 and he's 2. Yeah. So I can't,
is that the terrible 2s as well?
Yeah. So when he was a little baby, that was a total
your face said it all. Anybody that's only listening to the podcast, you need to check this video out when it goes live.
Yeah, but so I would go out, but as far as phone, I would do a lot of WhatsApp calls, but to be honest, nothing, not a lot of video calls, very, very rarely. Okay. Unless it was more than 3 of us, or there was some sort of a unique situation where we would have to show physical, work we were doing. But rare. It was always a phone. Phone.
And now are you doing more video calls? Is it?
Absolutely. I do on average 5 to 6 a week, and I've done upwards.
So isn't that funny? So your business, in essence, isn't that funny? So your business, in essence, hasn't changed a huge amount in what you do, but suddenly, just because people are using this more, and it's become there's a big change in what we're doing. I mean, I've been using Skype for years. I've used Zoom. Only really use Zoom because of doing the podcast, because we've got a studio here, and so I've done, we get people into the studio. Obviously now, social distancing, Zoom is a very good format, and it's a good platform to use. But it does seem to have given everybody that ability to start using video a lot more. Of course, Facebook started going that way anyway. Social media started going that way. Now it's just become virtually overnight a part of people's business. My mum and I. Right. My mum lives in Spain. She's been locked down for like 4 weeks in Spain. She can't go anywhere, right? Literally, she can't go outside the front gate virtually. She's 77. Big love to your mum. She'll be checking this out, I'm sure. She's one of my biggest fans, obviously. But I'm having more video FaceTime calls with my mum than ever. But I suppose that's because we want to keep in contact and make sure she's okay and stuff like that. But it has changed things, doesn't it? Weirdly, but it hasn't changed. Your business hasn't changed massively in that way. It has changed the way that you're keeping contact. That's a good thing, isn't it?
It is. I totally agree. And what's really neat too is I've actually encouraged people who would never do anything like this to finally download the app or to make that leap. And I find that I'm doing that too in many ways.
Well, you've said that today for sure. You've definitely changed that. So what would be your advice out to everybody out there that's sort of going through things? Because there are people, look, most of the people I'm speaking to so far, like yourself, we've got quite a positive outlook, and and that's what this show's about. We want to help people. We want people to understand everybody's in the same boat, and there are things that you can do, and you've just got to be adaptable. But not everybody is in the same boat as we are. Not everybody has the same mentality. There's people struggling. What would be your advice out to people that to help them to get through this, and to maybe even look at way they can utilize this time to make benefit of it?
Yes, first and foremost, so I'm speaking directly to the listeners now. Do not, under any circumstance, give up. Don't give up. It really comes down to that. Don't stop what you're doing. And if you need to take a break, by all means take a break, and really, take hold of that break and take this moment to relax, reflect, give yourself a day. Don't focus on these little details. And another specific piece of advice I'd like to give is especially when I started my business, I would start to hook on to specific situations or even people and hook on to them and say, oh my gosh, if I lose this contact, that's it. I'm done. Yeah. They mean so much to me. That's not true. I mean, no. Do not invest your time, your energy. If you feel like it's sucking the life out of you, there are so many people out there. There are so many people out there that care, that want to help, that genuinely want to help you, and they want to see you succeed. Do not give up, and never ever give up on spreading yourself and finding new people to connect with. You are never too far ahead in your career to connect with new people and to network. It's so essential.
Absolutely. And I think more than ever right now, it's easier to connect with people than it is usually. And we're used to networking with people just on a natural basis because of being, the business people that we are and doing what we do. No, there's a lot to be taken from that. I think that's I think that's definitely a valid point. Well, listen, I thank you very much for joining me today and chatting to me about that. I wish you the best of luck with what's going on and with the magazine. I look forward to hearing that you've got to a point where you can do your printed publication and you can get that out there to everybody. So to give them, in a way, it would be a great time to have got that out to those people. They're all sat at home around, having time to read. But hey ho, I'm sure you'll get it out there anyway. And let's fingers crossed that we get back to some sort of whatever the new normality is, the new world, so to speak, that you can blossom and grow your magazine and your business again.
Thank you. And also another quick piece of advice. Definitely, we don't know when this is going to end, but always remember to be ready. Be ready and to, hit the ground running once we're ready to go and get back to normal.
Definitely. Absolutely. Well, it's a good note to end on. Thank you very much. And so that's Vanessa Gordon from the Hamptons near New York. Very nice part of the world. I look forward to seeing you at some stage in the near future, Vanessa. I've got to make an excuse to come over there because I've always seen it and heard heard about how lovely it is there. Do you know, I'm going to come and knock on your door at some stage in the near future.
Great, absolutely. You're always welcome, and I love going overseas myself. So
Good. Well, you're welcome here anytime.
Thank
All right,
you.
well, great. Well, thank you very much. This is another very, very interesting and exciting episode of C-19, how we deal with it. Vanessa Gordon there from just outside New York. Big love to everybody. If you want to find Vanessa, where can everybody find you, Vanessa?
Yes, you can find me eastendtastemagazine.com or all major social media platforms at EastEnd Taste.
Lovely. Great. And I'll make sure there's a link around our post as well. Thanks again. And I'm going to sign off for now. So it's ciao for now, brown cow.